One.
Yo, fam, I'm not going to sugarcoat this one. What we just watched wasn't a tough loss. It wasn't a learning moment. It wasn't even one of those we fought, but we came up short games. This was Orlando walking into Madison Square Garden, taking their shoes off and getting comfortable and treating the paint like it was their Airbnb for the night. 50 points in the paint. 50. Brunson out there dropping 31 like a superhero, but the rest of the Justice League did not show up. Cat gave us 15 and 12, but defensively, front row tickets. Bridges looked like he left his bag at home. Mitch is still on the minutes diet. And rebounding, they beat us on the glass 49-37. Like they were the only team that remembered that the ball actually matters after it hits the rim. And meanwhile, we're out there looking at the rotation like, is it a basketball team or a social experiment? Look, we're going to break it all down tonight while the offense stalled, while the interior defense looked like a crime scene, and while we can be better. It's starting to sound more like a motivation, sound less like a motivation and more like a warning label. So buckle up. Knicks and Ish starts now. Let's go, Knicks. He hates to do it, but he know he has to. He hates to do it, but he know he has to. Nigga pocket ass.
I guess we hit the intro.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. I'm turning hoes to housewives, I'm cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom back the melody rap. If they gon' put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it. Fuck everybody on the front. When we see you in the finals, bring that same energy, nigga.
Well, you already know what time it is.
Oh, you about to do it? You about to do Fraz? You about to be Fraz?
You already know the rivalry. It's your favorite panel. It's Knicks and Ish. I'm your boy, the infamous one, Fox Avenue, live and direct, joined by, you know what he is. You know what he likes to call himself.
I'm the spark plug.
The spark plug himself, T-Time. Hopefully we'll be joined by our other brethren, Mrs. Knicks, Kev, and Fraz. But folks, tonight is not one of them nights where, you know, we have the same energy. We're kind of a little disappointed, and I'm sure that every one of you are as well. The New York Knicks lose their first one at home to the Orlando Magic, 124-107. It's kind of like one of those situations where you knew going into a back-to-back it was going to be a tough sell. However, it is what it is. They lose their first game at home in pretty disappointing fashion. Initial thoughts, we were flat. And Orlando came in, and like you said, T, they came in, they got comfortable. They took care of business. They played
Put their feet up, toes out.
And it's definitely, you know, one of the things that Mrs. Knicks will always say is belt to ass. Well, tonight we got it.
Mm-hmm. Listen, man, not to make any excuses off rip, right? I just gotta say that. But it was a back-to-back. And I'm from the hood. and I've been in a few scuffles and I've handed out ass whoopings and I received them. That's just a fact of life. You feel me? You know what I mean, unless you fought Floyd Mayweather or Rocky Marciano, and the only two people I know ain't get their ass whooped, but everybody else had to take an ass whooping. You feel me?
Even Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, some of the greatest fighters. The legendary Julio Cesar Chavez finally lost one.
I mean, Sugar Ray Robinson. You feel me? The list goes on. Everybody take an ass whooping from time to time, but now seriously, there was a lot wrong. You know what I mean? You like I said, there's no excuse for it's just being a back to back. We did a lot wrong. Like some things you could contribute to. All right, guys, we're just tired. The poor passing that I saw tonight, especially in the first quarter, I think we had like 6 to 9. I can't remember the exact number. 6 to 9 turnovers in the first quarter alone. That's disgusting work. That's disgusting work. And some of the passes were ghastly. They was horrible. Guys were leaving their feet, getting caught in the air, and making horrible passes that led to turnovers and quick, easy baskets. But I don't want to be long-winded. You know what I mean? So I'm going to start off asking Nick Ibaka this question. Oh, before I do that, before I start asking anybody anything, I mean, y'all got to make sure y'all hitting that like button. Sharing is always caring. You know what I mean? If you new to the channel, make sure you go to the YouTube, subscribe, hit that notification bell, set it to all so you don't miss no Knicks and Ish live and get that fire Nick talk. You know, not that cat that they be doing everywhere else. Get that fire Nick talk here. You know what I mean? And got to hit the Shopify. You feel me? Got to hit the Shopify. You know what I mean? The link is going across the screen at the bottom, actually right at this very moment. And if that's too much for you, go to the YouTube channel and, you know, Shopify right there. You can see all the merch right there. And super chats. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all bless the super chats. We definitely gonna stop whatever we doing to acknowledge your super chat and talk about what you talking about. And also, it helps the channel to keep us doing what we doing, keep us doing what we love to do, and help us continue to grow. But yeah, like I was saying, now on to brass tacks. Shout out to Uncle Paulie and whoever else is in the comments. I can't really see the comments right now. But yeah, shout out to everybody. But yeah. Well, that's Gabs, shout out. You know what I mean? But yeah. What went wrong tonight? Let's start there. What went wrong tonight? Nick Ibaka Abbott, along with your initial reaction to tonight's game, I ended off with, was tonight more about effort or execution?
It's a little bit of both. The Knicks didn't really answer the call. Orlando came in with a game plan. Yes, they're the more rested team, but that's no excuse. This is the NBA. You play who's in front of you when they tell you to play it. And they came in, took care of business. When their shots weren't falling, they adjusted. They knew that they had a size advantage, and they knew they had matchup advantages. Anytime you had Wagner against Brunson, Wagner, it's 6'7", 6'8". Brunson's at 6'2". You had other situations where you even had Gogo Batazi against Jalen Brunson or Deuce McBride, and they exploited that. They knew the Knicks, would try to run the switch or even try to do the double whenever they try to run their zone, and they exploited it. Key things that I also noticed that the Knicks took care of was that even though they did protect the ball, they only turned over the ball 14 times. They seemed like they were more. It just seemed like it was more. Everything else, It was pretty much, rudimentary. Orlando just took care of business. They dominated the paint. They took they cleaned up the glass when it needed to. And a key stat that Mrs. Knicks constantly emphasizes on a night out basis: only 20 assists.
which is super nasty work for this team, especially when ball movement is a key component to what the system that Mike Brown wants to do. But to only have how much you said 20 assists, it's kind of crazy work. I can't even lie to you, gang. That's kind of crazy work. And that also leads to, like, to me, when I was watching the game, it was a lot of poor shots. And I don't want to just put it all on the Knicks. I got to give Orlando some credit in that regard because they were playing hellified defense. They was getting away with a lot of fouls, but that's neither here nor there. No, I'm going to complain about that later. But but right now, I'm not going to complain about it. But if the refs let you get away with it, obviously, you continue to do what the refs allowing you to do. And yeah, they played some really solid defense throughout the night. And so I can't just give the poor shot selection solely on, just the Knicks. Got to give Orlando some credit for that. But there was poor shots. It was a lot of jumping in the air, doing bad passes. It was a lot of nasty work that helped Orlando. Orlando had a game plan that they was going to get to the cup. That was the plan tonight. Oh, they can't stop us from getting to the rack. I don't care what they do. We're going to get to the bucket. And that's exactly what they did all night long. 50 paint points is crazy. 50 paint points is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? And to your point with the switching, again, this is what I'm saying when it comes to lack of adjustments, right? Right. That's a lack of it. You clearly see that that's a point of emphasis for that team, that they want to go and get the mismatches. JB on taller players. I really don't mind him so much on Black because Black to me is not a super offensive threat. Yeah, I mean, even though he did hurt us tonight, especially from 3-point range. My fault. My tablet's about to die, and I need to try to. But yeah, he's not a super threat from 3-point range, but he hurt us tonight. You feel me? But what really hurt us is the ability for them to get Franz Wagner on smaller guys and him taking advantage of his size and his ability to finish in the paint, which I thought was in the second half should have been addressed. And why nobody pressed his handle? I'm like, yo, y'all letting this guy, y'all just gonna let this guy dribble the basketball. Franz Wagner ain't Allen Iverson. I'm watching OG and Mikal Bridges, two of our best defenders, when they were switched on him. Letting this guy just dribble the basketball. I'm like, yo, if y'all don't press that handle, dog. Like, that's all I was saying the whole time watching the game. How come y'all not pressing this guy's handle? He's a center, a power forward, dog. He's not Allen Iverson. He's not Wembanyama. He's not Kevin Durant. He's good, but he's not none of those guys. But anyway, I'm going to land the plane there before I blow a gasket because I said I wasn't going to be mad, but obviously I'm a little bit perturbed.
For good reason. Look, Orlando, we knew that going into the season, they were going to be a threat in the Eastern Conference. We knew that they were going to be on the come up and that they were going to be one of those teams that are going to be challenging the Knicks and the Clevelands. And, they're going to try to be a threat in the Eastern Conference throughout the season and well into the playoffs. They added some key additions, especially when it came to making the trade for Desmond Bane. I think that they're a very good team. They're still about a year or two away. In a 7-game series, I still don't worry about them. I kind of look at them the same way I looked at Detroit, where they're going to be tough. But I think that we still have more than enough, to handle that situation. But nights like this, is frustrating because, it's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose like this. When it doesn't look like it's your best. If you give it your all and you lose, it's one thing. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be upset about it, but at least you can go down with pride. Tonight, they're not really proud about this performance. You're looking at this and you're like, there's a lot of this could have been done better. That could have been done better. And I think that leads into that next question: is that what the hell does we can be better mean?
Wait. Let's not get there. We got some time. Let's not get time. We jumping the gun. We're going to get there. I see where you're going. I see what you're trying to do there. My bad. I don't mean to, steal the thunder, but we're going to get there. I still got some questions that I want to ask about the game itself, right?
I think that's a good question to still ask the chat, though. So,
yeah, for sure.
Those who are listening to us and watching us, thank you so very much. But we want to ask you, when you hear the Knicks players, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, whoever, even Coach Mike Brown, and they say the terms, we can be better. Obviously, tonight you're going to come up with a bunch of reasons why, because we did lose. But what does we can be better mean to you? You're watching the games. You know all basketball minds. What does it mean to you? Hit it down on the super chat, and whatever you guys come up with, we will address it. We will say if we vibe with it, we don't vibe with it. But we're gonna answer that question individually at the end of the show. But tea time, by all means.
Yeah. So when you was talking about the game, I'm going to steal a word that you was talking about in your last speech about the game performance, right? And going off the word performance, because there was a lot of letdowns tonight, right? There was a lot of letdowns in performance. So my question to you, Knickerbocker Ave, is who you think had the most disappointing performance tonight?
I think statistically speaking, and probably personally speaking, I think it was Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges didn't really have an answer. He felt more flat than usual. He only scored 6 points on 3 for 9 shooting tonight. His man, whether it was Desmond Bain or Suggs or whoever he was Tacit Garden, they had their way with him tonight. And that's not saying that that's going to happen consistently, but tonight just wasn't your night. And so the biggest letdown for me, besides the fact that I'm still very annoyed with the minutes restriction that we're hearing about Mitchell Robinson, because I thought that we could have used his size and his presence. To me, definitely was Mikal Bridges tonight.
I won't really argue against that, right? Because I do agree that Mikal did come up flat in his loss tonight. And not even really trying to give him an out or excuse, because I agree 100%. He was missing, but Mikal plays so hard, so I could see him from one game over back to back, giving his all to secure the win and doing everything he does defensively. It's really not out of the rim for him the next game to be not himself, but that still doesn't give him an excuse. He's a professional basketball player. He's been in this league for a long time. He's played tons of back-to-backs. He should be prepared to play a back-to-back. But for me, my biggest disappointment in performance tonight was Karl-Anthony Towns. He looked like he let the Orlando defense get on his nerves early, and he was never really able to recover offensively and defensively from the pressure that they was and in the physical play that it was putting on him from the beginning. And that kind of annoyed me, because I was watching Cat and I'm like, yo, bro, you really letting them get into your head. And this is something I always contend with Cat about is you gotta stop arguing with the refs every call. Every time you don't get a foul call, you cannot turn around and be like, foul! Because when you do that, he knows how I did Cat voice, right? Foul! You can't do that because when that happens, then you're late getting back on defense. There was a play, right? He went to the cup, he missed the basket. He thought he was fouled. He went and he also went crashing into the cameraman. I'm not going to, leave out that part. But you could tell he thought he was fouled, and he initially was slow on getting back in transition defense. And Franz Wagner sprinted up the court, and Cat could never catch up to him, and it led to an easy bucket for Franz. You feel me? Stuff like that was happening to Cat all game because Cat sometimes, when things are not going his way, be too worried about arguing with the refs than the game itself. And tonight, that kind of rang true. Cat still did his thing on the boards like he been doing all season. Shout out to Cat for that. Not ever letting up on the offensive glass, but offensively and defensively, when things don't go his way or he don't feel like he's getting foul calls, his confidence, his play style, and everything wavers in those moments. And I'm not really happy with that.
Well, I think it goes back to when I called him out on that issue, and this is kind of what we're talking about a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to that level again. Obviously, I don't want him coming looking for me, or anything like that. But the reality is that we see that they're getting physical with you. We see that they're not giving you the calls, but you can't then turn around and cry about it because NBA referees are just like that. If you continue to be a pest to them, they're not going to give you the calls. And referees just don't want to be told how to do their job. That's just how they are. I know that the league is working on trying to correct that situation so we can eliminate some of the errors that are happening. But I mean, basketball is still being played, the same way that that we play on our courts. When we're playing basketball, guys are getting physical. When ladies as well, your opponent's gonna get physical. They're gonna be bumping you around, and they're gonna be doing whatever they can to get that ball off of you, or for you to be determined in the shot. So you can only imagine what at the professional level what they're gonna do. And I honestly feel that sometimes he relies too much on doing that and behaving that way. That really starts to question. Makes the dudes on the street question his character again. I'm not saying that he's a bitch. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm saying you gotta cut it out, bro. You have to toughen up a little bit because it's gonna get worse. This is only game 11. You got another 61 games to play, and 61, 71. I mean, you got a fuckload of games to play. And it's going to get worse because if the opposition knows that all they got to do is get a little physical with you and they can get you off your game and you can have a quiet 15 and 12 and you lose. I mean, that's unacceptable.
To your point, Knickerbocker Ave, we went on a 5-game win streak, right? It was 0-7 at the crib. Teams are definitely going to look at this game, even though it's on a back-to-back day, and be like, oh, all right, all you got to do is rough them up a little bit. You feel me? And especially, this is a known strategy for high-scoring teams. It's been a strategy for as long as I can remember. As a team scores high, they like to play fast, get physical with them, slow them down. That has always been the go-to philosophy. So, to your point, he's going to see a lot more of this. You feel me? Especially going into the playoffs. We all know what it's like in the playoffs. There's more physicality. The game slows down. There's going to be more of it. You know what I mean? I'm very appreciative to what Cat brings to this team offensively. It's just that, I won't call it soft. It's a mental aspect of the game that he has to improve on. You feel me? It's the same shit that we went through with Julius Randle for a while when he would get fouled and complain and mope up the court. Like, it's the same shit. You know, Cat just a lot more vocal about yelling foul.
And demonstrative. It's a little too demonstrative for my liking. I mean, especially when you're talking about a city as tough as New York City. Dudes walking around with mean mugs everywhere, and so if you're gonna be the power forward or the center of the New York Knicks, you're gonna have to develop that mean streak in you. And I mean, I don't care how you do it, but you have to finish at the rim. You have to finish strong, and you have to do what you have to do. Despite the fact that the opposition is going to be physical with you, they're going to test you. They're going to test your toughness, and they're going to do it on a nightly basis. Fortunately, Karl-Anthony Towns is talented enough and strong enough. I mean, come on, he's 7 foot tall with a 7'4", 7'5" wingspan. The guy can get strong. Can bully his way and bulldoze his way into the paint. He just has to be able to do that consistently and not let the opposition's defense get to him.
And before we get into the next subtopic of the game, I want to say this, right? I've never seen a ref change a call or give more foul calls because you complain. I've never seen it. I've never seen it in all my years of watching basketball. Never once have I seen a player complain about not getting a foul call and subsequently being awarded foul calls thereafter. Like, I've never seen it. I mean, I've been watching basketball since I was a fucking like 6, 7 years old. I've never seen it, dog. Unless you're Michael Jordan. That's the only person I've ever seen it for. Michael Jordan is the only person I've ever seen that actually work for. But other than that, I've never seen it. But moving on, right? The topic of rebounding. Yeah, I mean the paint. No, this is the double topic. It's the paint and rebounding disaster that happened tonight. I guess they one and the same because they both happen usually in the paint. But anyway, just to kind of the scoring in the paint that happened on us and the rebounding that happened on us, which we've been pretty dominant over the beginning of the season when it came to the rebounding aspect of the game. Orlando, wow, we got out offensive rebound too. I thought it was just mostly defensive rebounds, but wow. Oh man, that sucks. So yeah, mostly we've been horsing people on the boards for the beginning part of the season. But tonight the Knicks gave up 50 points in the paint and we lost the rebounding battle 49-37. We kind of touched on it in the first thing, but Nickelback Ave, do you think this was a personnel issue, energy issue, or was it just the schemes that put us out of position that we got dominated in the paint and on the boards?
Well, I think it was mainly a effort issue. They did get gas after putting up 137 last night against Memphis. And secondly, I think it was a matchup issue. I touched on it a little while ago. Orlando has a lot of tall guys. Mm-hmm. Every one of them is like 6'5" or above, for the exception of maybe Desmond Bain and Suggs and maybe
arms. Word.
They're all like gargantuans, and the Knicks, for better or for worse, they're undersized. We mentioned it constantly. Jalen Brunson, 6'2", Deuce McBride, 6'1". I know that they have Mikal Bridges at 6'5", but he's really like 6'4" and change. Same thing with Josh Hart. Landry Shamet started again, and he's like 6'3" and change. I mean, this is kind of like, yeah, I know. Here you go, Uncle Paulie. I didn't forget you, bro.
Yeah, I heard you say it, but I thought he wasn't here, so I didn't want to start uproar.
He's always here in spirit, in some way, shape, or form. He's here. in all seriousness, the Knicks are undersized. So because of that, they have to utilize their speed, which is the one thing that Coach Brown has been a whole lot more. They didn't do that tonight.
My bad. Oh my God, what's that? My fault. That was my bad.
Okay.
I was trying to flip my iPad because I'm trying to see the comments on YouTube, and it just went to a whole different video. My bad.
Stephen Kennedy says Bridges is 6'7". He's listed as 6'7". He's not really 6'7".
I think he's 6'6". I think he's 6'6". Honestly, I think he's 6'6".
Maybe with Tim's on, but shit. With Tim's on, I'm 6'2". But the reality is that the Knicks are undersized. So if you're gonna go into a matchup where you're undersized in the majority of each position, you have to utilize your speed and you have to utilize the ball movement. The Knicks didn't do neither one of those. They were flat-footed and they only had 20 assists. So that alone led to a recipe for disaster. That's why Orlando was able to accumulate a 22 or 24 point lead at one point. The Knicks tried back into it when they tried to speed the game up and move the ball, but they couldn't get stops. And those key components to any basketball game are the recipes to a victory, and the Knicks didn't do either one of them.
So I also agree it was a combination of things. I think defensively it was personnel. They was picking on Jalen Brunson for sure. On defense, they was definitely picking on Jalen Brunson. When they took their 3-point shots, it was on JB closeouts. When they tried to drive to the basket, it was on possessions, mostly when JB was like primary defending the ball handler. You know, they was definitely trying to pick on JB because we all know he's not, the greatest defender. And to me, it's not because of his ability to defend mostly. It's just mostly because of his size. Because realistically, to take charges as consistently as Jalen Brunson does, you have to have some kind of defensive instincts, right? The thing that keeps Jalen Brunson to be an adequate defender is his height. So points in the paint, I want to say personnel-wise, because we were switching a lot and they was getting the matchups they wanted, right? I do agree with Steven with this. The only position that we are really undersized at is at the point guard position. Because even if you're right, Macau is 6'4", 6'5". That's a decent height for the two guard, right? Like that's not severely undersized. Like 6'5" is not severely undersized for the two guard. OG Anunoby is 6'8", right? That's great size for your small.
But they don't play. OG doesn't play 6'8". He plays like he's 6'6".
I mean, I disagree. Only the place that he doesn't play 6'8" is on the boards. Everywhere else, he plays his size. Attacking the basket, he must. The only thing wrong with OG, especially his handle. His handle was definitely 6'8" handle for sure. His handle was definitely 6'8". But yeah. Oh my God! Hold on,
gentlemen.
Hold on, my God! It's my fault.
John Stradamus.
After that, I can't stay awake past 9 o'clock.
My boy Dom is in his building. What's good?
What up, fellas? I'm doing this fast.
Yeah, we here.
What's up, guys?
Nothing much, man. We appreciate that you here to bless us with your presence. You heard? We just talk about.
Thank you.
We just talking about this game. You know what I mean? Well, since you here, I'm gonna put you right in the fire, right? tonight, being dominated on the paint, being dominated in the paint and on the boards, was that a personnel energy or scheme issue tonight?
I would say personnel. Because I think me and Av had this conversation earlier. When you're playing a team like Orlando, where their bigs could do more than one thing, and our bigs seem to limit themselves, it's kind of hard, guys. Because when you look at Mitchell Robinson, again, guys, after all these years, he is what he is. He's not going to give you nothing offensively. So they're a different beast, T. They have big guys that could do many things. We're our big guys, and like Karl-Anthony Towns, he wants to limit himself. He wants to be the three-point shooter. So that's not hard to defend after a while. Orlando, we already knew, guys. We knew when the season started these guys were going to be trouble. And when they get healthy, they're going to be trouble.
Yeah. I agree with that. Because when you talk about Mitch, we already know Mitch is going to rebound. He's going to give you putbacks. That's pretty much the end of the story with that, right? Cat, I agree. He wants to shoot threes. He wants to live three or driving to the cup. You feel me? That's where he wants to live. There's no in-between game, really. There's no back to the basket, which I think he really does. When he does do it, he has a really good post-up game when he actually does decide to do it. And with his passing ability, that makes him way more dangerous with his back to the basket and, drawing in defenses, but he doesn't do it. So to Dom's point, he's 100% right. It may have been personnel because we limit ourselves in two situations. And I also think it has to do a lot with scheme too, and I'm going to tell you why. I say scheme because we off a back-to-back. We have an explosive bench. I felt like the starters was left out there way too long tonight. There was not enough leaning on the bench. When you have a back-to-back, I feel like that's the time where if you have a good bench, you start to lean on them more. You start to lean on the Shamet start to find a spark. He found a spark tonight, especially in the second half. Why not lean more on that? Couple him with Deuce and Jordan Clarkson and be like, yo, we need y'all to turn up, y'all. We know y'all not defensively great. I love Shamet's effort, but we know he's limited because of his size as well. But we're going to turn up and run these guys, and we need you to put up shots. Instead, you want to rely on the guys that you used to close the game last night. Cat, Jalen Brunson, OG, McCall. Mitch didn't play, but and especially when you look at what it takes to be a two-way player, right? Especially for McCall or OG. Again, I'm not really trying to use this as an excuse because we still should have won this game. But when you're a two-way player, I feel like it takes double the energy to be a great two-way player than it does for like Cat and Jalen Brunson. So you're leaning on OG and McCall when you have other guys that can put the ball in the hoop. And especially when neither one of those guys is giving you jack shit offensively tonight. You lean on a Shamet, you lean on a Jordan Clarkson, somebody who we all know is a bucket getter. You know what I mean? So that's why I think I add scheme to us being dominated in the paint on the boards because we just was relying on people who probably didn't have their legs tonight.
Folks, we want to remind you that to be sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. Shout outs to Dom for joining us. He stayed, he took his Metamucil tonight and made sure that he could stay up late.
This guy, T.
Be sure also to, if you want to take a shot at the question, what in the world do the Knicks players mean that we can be better? Obviously, tonight There's going to be a lot of answers, but hit that up in the super chat, in the comments. Whatever you guys say, we will highlight it for you immediately, and we will address it. We will also give our answers at the end of the show.
I got one more question on the paint disaster. Where'd Dom go? He left?
He might be coming right back.
Yeah. One more question on this paint disaster thing, and we could kind of move on. There you go. Is Cat being asked to do things defensively that he's not built for? We'll start with Nick Baca. But let's start with Dom. Dom.
I'm sorry. I said this to Av earlier. Unless you haven't been watching the NBA, we're not asking him to do nothing he hasn't done and won't do. Again, the Minnesota Timberwolves bankrolled the next 5 years of their future to bring somebody in to play defense because they knew he couldn't play defense. So now we're trying to run that back like Mitchell Robinson is going to be Rudy Gobert. I don't get it. I really don't. And I guess we just got to live with it, guys. He's not going to be that defensive player. We just have to live with it. I hate to say it's that simple, but it's that simple. He's never going to be the defensive player of the year. He's very flat-footed. He argues too much. He does stupid fouls. It's almost like he got the basketball IQ of an Egg McMuffin when it comes to playing defense. And it is what it is. I'm sorry, guys. I love him. He's a Knick. But his flaws on defense are as clear as us three looking at each other. I'm sorry, man. It ain't it's like, I'll say this before I go, T. It's like 7-Up and caffeine. Never had it, never will. That's him. That's just him. I'm sorry. Accept it and move on.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Al. You
gotta apologize to me. You're not offending me here. Just so you know, Carl, if you're watching, he lives in North Carolina. So don't come looking for me.
Don't run up on me, though.
You won't off my lawn, guys.
The laws is different down there.
I have some special skills I acquired.
And the laws is different down there for sure.
Trust me.
Oh, by the way,
I'll tell you like this.
Dom, I forgot to mention it to you yesterday, but Happy Veterans Day, my brother.
Oh, thank you. Back to you, brother. Thank you.
Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And that I'd like to throw a little. See, I like to tell Karl-Anthony Towns in case he comes down here. I hope he saw the taken. I have acquired some special skills over my 22-year career. Jump if you want, Froggy. I'm sorry, Av. But I'll say this, Av, not to cut you off. Av will tell you, T, 4 or 5 years ago, I was the biggest proponent of getting Karl-Anthony Towns. Yeah. That's before I figured out he couldn't play defense, but I think we might have got him at the part of his career, guys, again, where we just got to accept it. That's all. No big deal.
So, look, I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to say this real quick, right? When the trade happened, I was very unpleased. Yeah, I mean, not because I didn't know what Karl-Anthony Towns could do. I was unpleased because most of the people was making the judgment on the trade being good because Julius Randle couldn't play defense. And I'm like, well, neither can this guy. We're literally traded for the same person. Yeah, I mean,
right.
It's just one is just meaner than the other. That's it. One is just a lot meaner than the other. But yeah,
and one will actually go to the basket once in a while too. I mean,
and has no fear in playing in the mid-range game too. That's it. But that's neither here nor there. Cat is on my team. I like Cat. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Knickerbocker.
To answer your question, are we asking Karl-Anthony Towns to do something he just is not capable of doing? I don't think so. I think that all we're asking for him is to play up to his potential and play up to his size. He is 7 feet tall. He is 250 pounds. He can shoot the long ball, which is something that we appreciate when he's consistent. But we also do want him to be somewhat of a traditional center in a sense. And I know that the NBA has evolved from that, and we don't have traditional centers anymore. But here in New York, there is a specific style that we've come so accustomed to, and we definitely would appreciate if he emulated some of those tactics. And he has. I'm not going to say that he hasn't. He has. But on Uncle Paulie, I'm going to just highlight that one because he's absolutely right. Plus their contract, and for that, it just basically means we need to see you be more of a leader. We need you to play up to your size, play up to your potential, and essentially play up to the fact that if you want to be the greatest the greatest shooting big man in history, you have to be a big man first. And right now, he hasn't been playing up to like the standard of big men that we've grown accustomed to. And unfortunately, I don't know if he's ever going to want to do that unless something changes.
There's a lot of good points there. Let's start with you have to be a big man first, and and this is my take on that. Because rebounding wise, I think he's playing up.
I think his phone died.
Sorry.
Oh, there he is.
She don't know that I'm doing this right now. But like I was saying, being a big man as far as rebounding is concerned, he's playing up to that in that regard. But when you think about other great big men, pause. I hate that term, but when you think about other great big men, right? They don't just, especially the shooting ones, right? We could go to the Joker. The Joker is a master in the mid range and in the post. Do you feel me? And he's a great shooting big man. Somebody else that come to mind off rip is Nowitzki, right? Dirk. You know what I mean? He was a master in the mid range, but he also had that cannon on him. Pause. Who else I'm thinking about? Like even whoever you could name.
Arvydas Sabonis, even Patrick Ewing to a degree. David Robinson. Talking about big men who had shooting ability,
but they all were able to operate in the mid range and the post. So that's what my interpretation is playing as a true big man. You know what I mean? Like you want to play like you were 3 or a 2, and that's really not possible for you with your physical limitations. Like you have to be able to keep the defense honest because they don't know what you're going to do. They don't know how to load up on you. Pause, because you're in different spaces of the court. If the only time you're willing to operate is at the top of the key, you make yourself super predictable. We know how to guard Cat. If he's not going to shoot, he's going to drive, and you don't pass out the drive. So we're going to help off the drive, and then you're going to be stuck. You know what I mean? But when it comes to defensively, which was the original question, I think we're definitely asking him to do something that he's not able to do. I think at the times that Mitch is not on the court and he has to revert to the 5, unless we're playing a severely smaller team, Cat should not be at the 5. Unless we have a team that Cat can usually like obviously dominate with his physical presence, Cat should not be at the 5. If Mitch goes to the bench, Huck Purdy should be in the game. If Mitch go to the bench, I even take Yabusele playing the 5 while Cat play the 4. Like, I'll even take that because Cat is not a 5. And defensively, you handicap this team when you put him at the 5. You know what I mean? And I'm going to land the plane there on that subject, because it's getting to the late hours, grown men. We all got things to do in the morning. So we're going to move on, right, to the Mike Brown system check-in, because there's some good, there's some bad. Right? So let's start with the shot profile tonight on the check-in. Right? There's a lot of threes, not a lot of drives, right? I'm gonna wait down. Yeah, so like I was saying, we're going on shot profile tonight. A lot of threes, fewer drives. Is this a coaching issue or a player issue? Let's go with Dominic did the last one first. Knickerbocker Ave.
I think it is a little bit too much emphasis placed by the coaching staff. You wanted speed, they didn't get that tonight. You wanted 43s, you didn't get that tonight. You didn't get much of anything. The only thing that I think, and Dom mentioned this on my spaces a little while ago, the only statistical battle the Knicks won is that they didn't turn the ball over. But they still conceded, I believe it was like 17 points off of 14 turnovers. 17 points over 14 turnovers. So that was the only statistical battle the Knicks won tonight. Aside from that, the Knicks were, I think that to answer your question, that it could be a little bit of both because you do have guys like Jordan Clarkson, who is a chucker. You have guys like Deuce McBride that like to, that like to open up the space up the floor and hit the open three. You have guys like Josh Hart, who can't really hit the three consistently. He'll still take them every now and then if you leave them open, and that's a recipe for disaster if you're feeling it that night. But more often than not, you have a lot of guys that like to take threes, and if they're not hitting them at a consistent clip, you as the coaching staff need to adjust. You need to change your game plan and start drawing up some plays, and to T-Time's point, in the mid-range. And that adjustment did not happen. And it seemed like when the Knicks started to make that adjustment on their own, Orlando had a counter for that. Clog up the paint. Put more bodies in the paint and make it uncomfortable for them. And since the refs weren't making calls from the Knicks at all, that was the recipe for our first home loss.
For sure. Dom, same question.
But whether we like it or not, the standard has been set. The change has been made, but the comparison is going to linger. This was supposedly the knock on Thibodeau. He can't adjust. He can't do this. He can't do that. So now here we have it where you're asking the question, T. Yeah, there comes a time you're not up by 25 points, and you got to make some adjustments. Were the adjustments there? Not that I saw. And again, it's hard to adjust to a team like Orlando who has that versatility. But me personally, I didn't see it. I was telling Av earlier. Josh Hart and Deuce McBride shot more times than Anunoby and Bridges coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
They had 6, 8 shots. These guys had 10, 8 shots. And here's the thing to your other point, T, that I was going to mention. The Knicks was beating Memphis by 160 points last night. And you still managed to jack up 55 threes in a blowout. So maybe just me, guys. Even with some adjustments, my arms might have been a little tired. I don't know. But you're up by a zillion points, and this is the Avs point. I've been saying this all year. We're going to continue to shoot 43. So again, where's the coach's adjustment? You shot 55 threes last night. Okay, T, we're going to knock it off. We're only going to shoot 38 tonight. Really? Come on. There was no adjustments because remember, I told Ab this too earlier. Orlando came out the gate, couldn't throw a three-pointer in the ocean. What did they do? They adjusted. They went to the basket. They made you chase them. They made you move your feet. And there goes the blowout.
Yeah, I agree. I think when the threes are not falling, there's not any plan B. Yeah, I feel like there needs to be a plan B when it's not your night. Because tonight, not every night is going to be your night. You feel me? Shooting the basketball. We know this. We've all watched enough collective years of basketball. I think we're definitely over a century on this panel alone in watching basketball. Like, we have to be close, right? If we're not over, we're damn near close. Over a century worth of watching basketball to know that not every night is going to be your night shooting the basketball. It's impossible to go every game and being the best shooting team ever, right? So there needs to be a plan B. You need to go through every game needs to have a plan B. All right, if the shots is not falling, this is how else we're going to exploit their defense. And even with Tibbs, there was never a plan B. And we seeing the same thing. There's never a plan B. The original plan is we going to shoot. And tonight, you saw the confusion in where, all right, they're not letting us get these shots. It's not even that we had an off night shooting. JJ was good, my boy. It wasn't even so much that we were having just a natural off night shooting. They just weren't letting us get the shots. So where's the plan B to that? You know there's teams that's going to match up against you effort-wise and physically. Orlando, like I said, is one of those teams we had to watch because they match up with us well, effort-wise and physically. Like, physically is on their advantage because they have, like Knickerbocker Av said earlier, a whole bunch of guys that's fucking 6'10" and athletic. Like, the whole team is 6'10" and athletic. So there has to be a plan B to beat this team. I'm going to give Mike Brown some leadway in that regard because it's still a new situation. You feel me? You still trying to lay down the fundamentals of what your system is in its entirety. So I'm going to give him some leadway in that regard tonight. But if we end up losing more games to Orlando the same goddamn way, then we're going to have a problem. You know what I mean? We're going to have a problem.
Well, that's going to be crucial because considering what's ahead, we have one more game in this homestand. It's an important game for us because it's an opportunity to get some get back. Mm-hmm. So the Knicks have to figure out, how is it they're going to close out this homestand before they go on the road for 5? Because that road trip, if you look at that schedule, it is not easy. Right after we take on Miami on Friday night, we're in Miami on Monday, in Dallas on Wednesday, in Orlando on Saturday, and then we're back in Brooklyn on Monday, at Charlotte next Wednesday, before we come home and host the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors. I mean, that's a tough schedule. It does seem like a little bit difficult, to get out of that unscathed. I think the Knicks can still do some, to go through some growing pains and get some key victories in there. But I mean, come on now. Like I said, we're going to play Orlando again, and this time it's going to be in Orlando. And I'm just going to see how that transition is, because right now we're 0-3 on the road. We're 7-1 at home. We're 0-3 on the road, and we need to.
Are we really on the road in Orlando?
No, not really.
Charlotte or Miami.
That's another whole game, man.
I will say, due to a bad situation, I was supposed to be in Miami on the 16th. but due to my wife's dad passing away, I got
Sorry to
bad
hear
and
that.
lucky at the same. I got bad and lucky at the same time. My son will be here for the service, and he'll be here for Thanksgiving. And guess what? The Knicks are in Charlotte on the 26th, so we'll go to Charlotte instead of Miami.
Yeah, absolutely.
Win,
I
win,
was trying
win.
to,
But
I was trying to, I was trying to make that Charlotte game for sure, but I don't think it's
oh,
going.
come on, T. Oh,
I
we'll
don't
be
think.
there. Come on, bring Av
And
with you.
listen, I'm still trying, but I don't think it's going to happen though.
Oh,
But you know, to close out the homestand is very important, especially against Miami. Yeah, I mean, not only because they beat us in our first matchup, because it's Miami. I don't ever want to lose to Miami. Miami, I put them up there like losing to Miami. I put it up there the same as losing to Boston, losing to Philly. Yeah, I mean, like, and I still feel some kind of ways losing to Chicago, even though because that's old wounds. You feel me? That's traumatic stuff. So I still carry those scars. You feel me? But Miami, I still keep that up there too. Like I don't ever want to lose to those guys. And being the fact that we already lost to them, this gives me a chance to see, like, all right, Mike Brown, what's really your coaching chops? Because if you're a coach, right, and you beat a team, you're not going to really do too much to deviate from what helped you win, right? It's up to the losing coach to make the majority of the changes. And I want to see what kind of changes Mike Brown made and to lead us to victory. Yeah, I mean, this is where you really get to see your coaching chops. I think this is the outside of Chicago because we lost to Chicago and we won the next game. Yeah, I mean, I want to see if that was a fluke or is Mike Brown really committed to making adjustments and making his team win? Yeah, I mean,
Hey, T, I have to break the news here. Jalen Brunson has left Madison Square Garden in a walking boot and crutches.
I want to throw something. I want to throw something. Why can't I ever have nice things? Why can't I ever have nice things? I could never have nice things, man. As a Knicks fan, I can never have nice things, bro. What do you mean Jalen Brunson left in a walking boot on a bum-ass play being hurt by fucking Wendell Carter? He's a bum. He don't even deserve for Jalen Brunson to step on his foot. And you mean to tell me Jalen Brunson left in a walking boot because of Wendell Carter? On a game that we already lost? It's annoying. I could never have nice things. I could never have nice things, bro. It's annoying. It's annoying, bro. What do you mean? What do you mean? Yo, Wendell Carter is the reason why Jalen Brunson left in a walking boot. Wendell Carter, bro. Yo, what are we talking about? It's the season of destiny, and he's leaving. He stepped on Wendell Carter's foot. It was a bad defensive play. Wendell Carter didn't have no chance of stopping Jalen Brunson to get to the cup. No chance. But he stuck his foot out and put his arms back like this, like he was trying to avoid the foul. I don't know. I usually don't say players try to injure other players intentional. That felt intentional. I don't care. Sue me. Wendell Carter, he's on the hit list. He's on the hit list now. That's in the rent. Because if you keep on playing the music, I'm gonna keep going. I'm mad now, bro. Yo, Av, I'm mad, bro. I'm mad, bro. Mad. If Jalen Brunson don't find a way to play the next game, bro. I don't want to do this no more. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, bro.
Damn.
JB, for real? For real, JB. 10 games into the season, son. Like, 10 games into the season. I could take a mid-season injury. But at the beginning of the season, no, I don't want to hear none of that. Yo, you should have waited till we got a. You did that on purpose, Ab. You did that shit on purpose.
Don't blame me. Blame Uncle Paulie. You know what told me? I'm just relaying the everyone here.
Y'all did that on purpose. Y'all knew the reaction y'all was gonna get from me. Yo, I'm serious, bro. I will try to hold myself together so we can get through the rest of this show. But yeah, I'm letting you know I'm not in the mood no more.
I don't even think that we can even continue with the "we can be better" thing now because it's not we can be better. We're gonna have to be.
We got to do this.
This would be a perfect segue for me to ask T, since I ain't seen him in a while. What happened to the Yankees?
Yeah, it's like they forgot how to bat. It's like they forgot how to bat in the postseason.
Again.
And the crazy part is against the Blue Jays, right? I forgot the boy name. The boy that was throwing them. I don't know if it was a curve or a sinker that he was throwing out of the zone all game. He was a young boy, a rookie. I forgot his name.
Glasgow? Was it Glasgow?
Nah. It was something more like that had it kind of had like a double entendre kind of feel to his name. I can't remember though.
We're using the big words now.
It was a young boy. I think it was the first postseason or something like that. He just kept on throwing the same pitch out of the zone, and everybody kept on swinging at it. And I'm like, yo, how about we just make that pitch?
Throw a strike.
Yeah, how do we just forget the hit? And the sad part is, Aaron Judge had a decent postseason. It wasn't as horrible as his other ones, but everybody else forgets the hit. And the pitching is not that great. Yeah, I mean, that's something that's been the knock on us for the last 3-4 years. It hurts my feelings. It hurt my feelings to watch, especially to watch Vlad's son go the Yankee. I mean, fuck this guy, bro. Him and his dad. I fucking hate both of them.
Guess what, Vladdy? So did you.
Well, that was a good way to get you off of Brunson, see. I'm sorry.
But it still pissed me off, though.
It's funny. Av is saying it, see, and it's going across the top of my phone. I was like, oh, shit. And then Av says it. I'm like, oh, boy.
Yeah, bro.
He'll be all right, I think. I
don't. More than likely, given, I don't know the extent of the injury, and obviously no reports have come out yet. I'm sure that something will come out over the next couple of days. But more than likely miss Friday's game against Miami, and he might miss a game or two for the road trip. However, since we are going to be playing against Dallas, he does like to get up for that one. And I think that he would. He'd be ready for it. I don't think that it looked like a severe injury, but at the same time, I don't know. And with the load management that the NBA and all the sports is doing these days, you don't know. So fingers crossed. Prayers to JB. Hope he's okay, and we'll see.
So as long as it's not high ankle. You know what I mean? As long as I don't hear those words, I'm content. You feel me? In a high ankle sprain, those joints take almost damn near a month for guys to get back from. And I don't want to see JB out for a month. I don't want to see him out for any time, but a month is kind of, outrageous. But at the same time, I feel like we do have enough talent on this team to win games. Cat severely has to step up. He severely has to be the guy in that time. whoever Mike Brown decides to be the point guard also has to remember their job is not to fill Jalen Brunson's shoes, but to be serviceable. You know what I mean? In their role. The only person that we're looking for to fill any of the Cap's shoes is Cap, right? Cat is the only person that we look at to like, all right, big dog, you gotta earn your keep now, because the number one guy, as the number two guy, you have to step up. And I think with the way that Mikal's played so far this season, the way that OG's played so far this season, the way that Jordan Clarkson has played off the bench so far this season, and same thing with Deuce and Landry, I feel like we have the ability to win games even when JB is down. Pause. I just hate to hear it. I hate to see it. It makes me sick to my stomach, especially seeing the way that he was injured. Fucking Wendell fucking Carter. He's a bum, bro. Like, he don't even deserve to injure JB, bro. Like, he's a fucking bum, bro. But speedy recovery to JB, you know, absolutely. But this shit is annoying, bro. I can't have nice things.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like
it worse, right? The recap of the replay of the shit of the game is on right now. So when I look over this way, I'm really looking at Wendell Carter bum ass right now. Yo, Av, close the show out, gang. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go, bro. Yo, Dom, thank you for pulling up. Appreciate
thank you, guys.
As always, you know you welcome here anytime. All you got to do is send word. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody in the comments. And Av won't close out the show. I'm ready to go.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us. Shout outs to Dom, the Domstradamus himself for the Bleed Blue Show. You can also find him on Ours Untitled. Great show. They talk about more than just sports. They talk about life in general and, you know, grown man shit. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Friday night when the Knicks take on the Miami Heat. But T-Time, the Spark Plug, who's right now, he's pretty distraught. I'm just going to close out the show completely. I mean, if you don't believe me, this guy is, oh my God.
Well, my feelings is hurt, man.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on Friday. Hit the outro.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it all from boom back to melody rap. If they gon' put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like Logic's ethnicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it.